Hi, my name's Nick Best and I'm the Managing Director here at Astranti, and I've recorded a whole series of videos on the management case study and how to pass that management case study. And this is a sample of one of those. I've picked a section that I hope that just by watching this sample you'll find some really useful information to help you pass the exam. And this particular video comes from my analysis of the examiner's reports. So I'll leave you to that sample. I hope you find this useful and educational as you go into your exam. The best advice is the examiner's advice. I always try as best I can to make all my teaching relate very closely to what we're getting from the examiner, and that there's no better way of doing that than to look and see what the examiner is saying about each case study sitting. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. We're going to have a look at a 2015, then a 2016, then a 2017 examiner's report to see what was it like at the start. 2015 was the first year in which the management case study was produced. What were people doing then? And then how have people improved over the time? Are people making the same mistakes? Or have they improved and changed? Or are there new things that are coming in? Also, by looking at the 2017 scenario, we start to see more really how things changed over those first couple of years of sitting the case study exam, and how the examiner's thinking was changing as well. But by going right back to the first time, back in the first year, we'll also learn some of the basic lessons that in actual fact are very important to case studies as well. So there's a real benefit through looking through time at these. So we're going to start right back in 2015 then with the November 2015 exam session. So this was the fourth management level case study. The first one was in March, although it was a bit of a write-off. Hardly anyone took that March exam. So May was really almost the first real sitting. So it was a sort of the third, fourth really sitting. So what's the examiner saying? So first thing the examiner is saying, just talking about it being a service industry, it's a consultancy practice, and it was a slightly different type of company from previous manufacturing and retail companies. So why is he telling us that? Well, he's saying, well, look, what's this all about? In the service industry, we need to make sure that staff's hours are fully utilised. In a consultancy company, we've got all those staff, they need to be working on client work for a significant proportion of the time. And those who understood that business model achieved higher marks. So our first key lesson comes out of this then, which is you need to know the pre-scene, but you need to know what's important to that type of company, what's important to their success, what's the basis of their success. And then you need to use that throughout your exam. Every point you make, and particularly during the planning phase when you're trying to decide what points to make, just think, could I apply this to my knowledge of the company, the business, its strategy, its business model, my knowledge of the pre-scene? Can I bring up a kind of statistic from the pre-scene that I've pre-learnt? Remember, you're not going to get time in the exam to go through looking back through the pre-scene, so you have to pre-learn a whole load of facts in that pre-scene itself. Okay, so very, very important. And in fact, in the next line down, he actually says the strongest answers were properly applied to the scenario. I have recently been recording an analysis of some student scripts, and we looked at a poor script and a medium script and a good script. And one thing that was really noticeable about the really good script was actually two things. One, it was long, and there were loads and loads of points being made. It was well structured as well. But secondly, it was applied to the pre-scene again and again and again. What I did actually on that particular one was I was able to go through looking at the company name and just highlight the company name, and I was able to highlight that company name sort of 7 or 8 times all on one page, where what the student was doing was saying the company this, the company that, and it means this for this company, it means that for that company. And so that's what you need to do. Back on the really weak script that I reviewed, it was saying, well, to be honest with you, nothing about the company, nothing about the industry. It was just this is good because of this, and this is good because of this, and this is good because of this. And it was a very poor script. So that's my experience as well as the examiners, it's that application, every single point you make. How can I apply this to the scenario? How can I apply this to the scenario? And you need to make enough points. We know the examiner has said that you have to get quality is more important than quantity, but the reality is my experience is lots of short scripts, particularly in the early stages where people are practicing and sending in mocks. Just people haven't got into the pure speed that you need to work. You have to work really, really quickly. 1 point. Okay, what's my next point? There's my next point. There's my next point. And you're just going through making another point and another point, really working at a pace. Because the more points you can make, the more points there are to be marked, and the higher the mark that you will get. Now, they do need to be good points as well. So it's both quantity and quality that are really key. Hi, my name's Nick Best and I'm the Managing Director here at Astranti, and I've recorded a whole series of videos on the management case study and how to pass that management case study, and this is a sample of one of those. I've picked a section that I hope that just by watching this sample you'll find some really useful information to help you pass the exam, and this particular video comes from my analysis of the examiner's reports. So I'll leave you to that sample. I hope you find this useful and educational as you go into your exam.